We are finally going to connect our XML views to the Kotlin files for the first time. Are you excited? We sure are. Let's start and open the new activity.kt file. We are opening this file because we were working with the layout of this file earlier. Now, we need to connect the views to the Kotlin file, right? Let's first understand what we need to do and then learn how to do it. So, we want to click on this button, and on clicking, we want to display a message. We will not be connecting this page to the next page that appears after login right now. That we will learn at a later stage. For now, we need to enable our Kotlin file to listen to the user's actions or events and respond to that. So, first let's create variables for the various views we have created, so as to store the data that the user will enter or to store the events that take place with respect to these views. We are creating the variables here before the onCreate method. We write the keyword var, the name of the variable, colon, and the data type. Now, if you see here, we have used the same name for the variable as we did for the ID for this particular view. This is a good coding practice and helps us remember names easily. This data type that we have given here is not the data type that we have studied about in module 2, right? Because these new data types that we will see now are created by the Android Studio SDK. So, the data type for edit text will be edit text, for text view will be text view, etc. Now, later on when we need to perform operations on the data stored in these variables, we will extract the data from these data types and will convert it to the data types that we had studied earlier. But don't worry about remembering all of this right now. If you see here, the variable is underlined in red, and this means that the IDE is suggesting an error. Well, can you think what the error could be? Take 5 seconds. So, you remember we always gave our variables some initial value. Well, we cannot do that here because actually the variables will be created and will get the data inside the onCreate method. And you know why that is? Because everything in an activity in an app starts with the onCreate method only. So, to resolve this error, we can use the lateInit keyword here to tell the IDE that this variable will be initialized later. Yes, the error gets resolved now. But remember one thing, the lateInit keyword can only be used with var variables and not with val variables. Okay, so let's declare variables for all the views in the layout. Now, you can say that why did we declare the variables before the onCreate method when they won't even be created before the onCreate is called? Well, the simple reason is to widen the scope of the variables. Ring a bell? Yes, we have covered this concept earlier. We declare the variable at the top of the class since we may need them anywhere in the class. Hence, we declare them as class variables and not as member variables. Now, once the layout is created for the user by the onCreate method, we can go ahead and connect the variables to their respective views inside the onCreate method. We will do this by using the findViewById function. Okay, so what is this function? As the name suggests, the findViewById function finds the views by looking at their IDs and connects them to the variables we have declared. This function is defined in the libraries of Android SDK. We now understand that whether we are working with linear layouts or relative layouts, we must always give IDs to our views. So let's do this now. we will write the name of the variable, put an equal to sign, and then use the findViewById function. Now inside the brackets here, we will mention the ID of the view we want to connect. You remember how we used IDs for pictures when we were creating our layout files? We used the R folder, right? We'll do the same here. So this time we will write r.id and then the ID of the view. We have initialized the variable here. Now let's do the same for all the other variables. So, whatever data or information we get from the views will now be stored in these variables. But before we can collect data, we need to make our buttons and links clickable, right? So let's learn how to add event listeners to the views. Event listeners simply enable us or our code to listen to an event. An event is anything that the user does on the app, such as clicking a button or a link. We will first put the onClick listener on the button in our layout. To do this, we write the variable name of the button, put the dot operator, and then write the set onClick listener. But even when we do this, we need a framework where we can listen to the click and then make some message appear when that happens, right? So let's do that now. But before we proceed, there's a question for you. Where did the views that we have been using till now come from? They must have been declared somewhere, right? Yes, the views that we have been dealing with till now are actually declared and defined inside the view class. Also, this class has an interface called onClickListener. This interface has a method called onClick. Now, we need to use this method. So we will implement our current activity to the onClickListener interface and then override the onClick method to use it. All the basics of classes, methods and interfaces we studied earlier must all be coming into perspective now. And if you can't recall them, now would be a good time to revisit those videos and brush up your concepts again. To implement an interface, what do? We simply write its name here, right? So, let's write view.onClickListener here to implement the interface. Now, earlier when we wanted to inherit a class or implement an interface, we simply put a comma and mentioned its name here. Then, why have we used the word view and dot here? Well, that's because the onClickListener is created inside the view class. If the view class and onClickListener interface were created into separate files, we would have simply written a comma and the name of the interface here. Okay, let's proceed now. Now, if you remember, a class can only inherit one class but can implement multiple interfaces, right? As you can see here, this class has inherited the AppCompat class and has now implemented the onClickListener interface. Also, when we implement an interface, we need to implement all its member functions too. And this will be done using the override keyword. So let's do that now. But since the IDE is smart, we will not have to do it manually. We can simply place the cursor on the class name here, click Alt plus Enter and select the option to implement members. Now, select the onClick method here and hit Enter. And it's done. We can remove this to-do line from here. Inside the set onClickListener function, we need to pass the onClick method which we have already implemented above. We will use the this keyword to do this. We will simply write the this keyword in the brackets here. So, we have successfully implemented a click on the button now. We can do the same for any other views. Now it's time to add the functionality to the click. In Android apps, you must have seen that some prompts or messages appear when we click on buttons, etc. So for example, when we get an OTP message and we click on this copy OTP button on the message, this prompt appears at the bottom. This is known as a toast. So let's add a toast to our app. For this, we will write the code for toast inside the onClick method, since we want the toast to appear when the button is clicked and when the onClick method is called. We write toast and hit enter on this option. Now let's see what we got here. This toast has a method called makeText, which is responsible for creating a text. This method has 3 parameters, as we can see in the brackets here. The first parameter is called context, and it gives the current state of the app when the toast will be displayed. Since the state will be new activity, hence we give the context as this @new activity. The next parameter is the text, which contains the message that we want to display. The third parameter is the duration, that is the time for which we want to display the toast. The toast has predefined standard durations as length_short or length_long. So let's use length long for now. Finally, after creating the toast, we display it using the show function like this. Now, let's stop the app and run it again. If we click on the login button, the toast gets displayed. So we have learned how to implement a click on a view. Let's quickly summarize the steps we performed to do this. First, we declared variables for the various views by using the lateinit keyword. Then, we initialized these variables inside the onCreate method by using the findViewById method. Next, we used the setOnClickListener on the button to set a click on the button. To provide a framework for this click listener, we implemented the onClickListener interface of the views class and then implemented its onClick method. Then we passed the this parameter inside the setOnClickListener method to use the onClick method we implemented earlier. Finally, we created a toast inside the onClick method and displayed it on the screen. So, these are the steps that we need to perform to implement a click on a button or any other view. I hope you will remember this now. So that was all for this topic. In the next topic, we will learn more such interesting things and will add more functionalities to our app. Click next to take a quiz.